it you that gave her the last one?
2022 was a year of trial and tribulations, to say the least. I have never been so sick and scared in my life. As I welcome 2023 with hope for better health, I want to invite you on a reflection of the ups and downs of 2022. Hola amigos, Daniela here from Through the Looking Glass. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my channel if you're new here. In this channel, I talk about my life healing from several chronic illnesses. I started 2022 not on the best foot. I was planning a big New Year's murder mystery party for 20 people, 10 of which were living at my house. Out of those 10 people, 8 people got COVID. One by one, we got sick. Of course, we canceled the party, but I was the one that got the worst. It doesn't surprise me considering I have several chronic illnesses. It was not the first time that I had got COVID. The very first time I had it was in March of 2020. And it was after that first time I got COVID that I developed one of my current chronic conditions called POTS. It was not a fun time with so many of us sick, one after the other. The isolation was definitely not good for anyone's mental health, but we survived. And with isolation came time. With all that extra time in my hands, I started thinking about my YouTube channel. I always wanted to start a YouTube channel, but didn't have the confidence to do it. The first thing I did was start telling people about it so that they could make me accountable, but I was still not ready to start a YouTube channel. So I decided to start with an Instagram account and feel the waters for social media. Even this small step was a huge learning curve for me. I had no experience with social media. I did not have an Instagram account before. All I had was a Facebook account, and I didn't know how to design in Canva, how to upload a reel, what's the difference between a story and a reel and a post. It was a huge learning curve. It was also around this time that I had my first anaphylaxis reaction. It was really scary. I had to be taken to the hospital by ambulance and be given epinephrine. This was a very scary time because I had to be at the hospital all by myself because no visitors were allowed, and I had no idea what was happening. I had never had an anaphylaxis reaction before. Then February came along and I had another anaphylaxis reaction and was taken to the hospital again. This time my husband was not even in the country. He was in Brazil visiting family, and my son had to give me epinephrine at home with an EpiPen. Again, another super scary experience because I don't know if you ever had an anaphylaxis reaction, but it literally feels like you're gonna die. It is the scariest thing ever. Hospital visits became a trend for me, not only for anaphylaxis, but I also started to have uncontrollable migraines. March rolled around and I was feeling defeated and depressed. I needed something in my life to give me purpose, a desire to wake up every day and achieve something, not just survive. I decided it was time. It was time to start my YouTube channel. I was never going to be ready, so this was as good as a time as any. Now remember, that was a time that I was having multiple anaphylaxis reactions, and so I was sick all the time. My voice was constantly hoarse and altered. It was so hard. It was much harder than I had expected. I was having daily migraines as well, and the medications that I was taking between the antihistamines for the anaphylaxis and the medication for the migraines, my memory was horrible. I had one of the worst brain fogs I've ever had in my entire life. Now, you can imagine trying to film a YouTube video when you cannot even remember the name of your own channel. I can't remember the name of my channel. Through the Looking Glass. Okay. The migraines made it difficult for me to concentrate, my voice was weird, and it was so difficult talking to a black hole. Hola amigos, Daniela here from the Through the Looking Glass. But I did it. I owned my mistakes and I actually included bloopers at the end of that video. Through the Looking Glass. Hola amigos, Daniela here from the Through the... And when I look back, I see how far I have gone. And that is the reason I keep that video in my channel, because we all start somewhere. And I wanted to see my progress. I wanted to see how far I had progressed over the year. I also wanted it to be a mark of how determined I was to overcome my challenges. In April, my husband, my youngest daughter Isabella, my brother and I went to British Columbia to visit the family that Isabella would be living with when she went to do her pilot's license training. The walk between gates, even though it was smaller than a Toronto airport, was harder on me. I'm a lot more out of breath and my heart rate got a lot higher. Heading to the airport. So this guy is gonna fly us. I'm not quite sure if I trust him. I am definitely paying the price of the weekend. I'm very sore and a lot of pain. That trip was a lot of fun, and though I paid the price later, it gave me the confidence for traveling again, which led me to traveling to Brazil in May. So in May, I went to Brazil with my husband and Isabella, and that was a much needed trip. I needed a break from the winter. I needed a break from sickness. I just needed to incorporate some fun and adventure in my life. This is amazing. This is the best medication, the best therapy. I needed to feel alive again. I ate good food, I soaked the sun, and I had some much needed laughter. When we came back from Brazil, Isabella finally moved to British Columbia to pursue her private pilot's license. In June, the weather finally started to get better and I couldn't wait to start camping again. My kids are grown and busy and have their own commitments, and though we own a 32-foot long trailer, I didn't want to be taking that big trailer camping for just my husband and I. So I decided to convert our 12-passenger cedar van into a camper van. A lot of work. I'm already tired. Later in the month, Isabella came back to visit to spend her birthday with us, and we ended up throwing her that big murder mystery party that we were gonna do it for New Year's and had to cancel. It was definitely a lot of work, but I had a lot of time to prepare and I had a lot of help, so it didn't feel stressed at all. The entire party. Party was a huge success and everybody had so much fun. In July, I went to British Columbia to visit Isabella, and that would be my first trip without my husband since I had got COVID and had been sick. I went with my youngest son. It was a very short trip, but it was great to see her. The weather was great. We did a lovely hike and a picnic. But on the way back from that flight, we had an in-flight medical emergency and I ended up attending to this sick passenger. Now, it turns out that this passenger had COVID, which then I ended up getting COVID for the third time. This time I was as sick as the previous 2 times, but I did recover a little bit faster.
Oh my God, this pain. I can't take it.
However, I started getting pretty frequent anaphylaxis reactions again. But at this point, I was getting pretty good at recognizing the early signs of anaphylaxis and so was able to take medication early enough to prevent it from becoming a full-blown anaphylaxis that I had to go to the hospital. Though I was able to manage those reactions at home, every time I had them, it would leave me exhausted and drained. During this time, I was also becoming more comfortable and confident with YouTube, and I started sharing more of my personal struggles in vlogs. Another day in my recovery from this fibromyalgia flare. Last night was pretty rough. Pretty rough. I also posted my very first shorts and started experimenting a little bit more with short form content. My Instagram was growing. I think I had about 5,000 followers on Instagram, and I was becoming a lot more comfortable with social media in general. August was a good time for me. I was feeling better, the weather was good, and I was enjoying camping and the outdoors. I was still dealing with daily migraines, but the fibromyalgia was a lot more under control. So when you have one less chronic illness to worry, it makes a huge difference. I also made the best purchase of my entire life, which was to buy a hot tub. I was so excited to get that thing up and running, but my backyard was not level, and so we had to build a platform before we're able to set up the hot tub. That took a little bit of work, but when it was ready, it was amazing. Then end of summer came and we did our last camping trip, a backcountry canoe trip. I had been waiting for that trip all year long. It's one of my favorite camping trips. It was so much work preparing for it and packing, but so worth it.
It's freezing. It got so cold last night.
I came back from backcountry camping exhausted and feeling I was on the verge of a flare, but I still had a wedding to attend. That was the wedding of a very dear person to me, and I had to attend that wedding. When I came back from that wedding, the crash came. And it was a bad one. Between the preparations for backcountry camping, the trip itself, and the wedding, all back to back, it was more than my body could handle. It was inevitable. I crashed. I crashed really hard. I crashed physically, but I crashed mentally as well. September turned into October and the flare continued. October was the biggest flare of the year. I have been having a really hard time getting motivated to do anything. Honestly, just feeling pretty sorry for myself and almost kind of like giving up. Yep, I'm not okay. I was struggling with never-ending migraines, several anaphylaxis a week, my POTS was out of control, I had fibromyalgia flares, and I was in bed all the time. Like I feel I'm missing out so much in life. I was also getting pretty discouraged with YouTube. I had been doing YouTube for about 7 months at this point, and I had not even hit 500 subscribers. Then November came, and I hit bottom. My health was getting worse and worse, and I could not see a light at the end of the tunnel. I was hitting one wall after the other in terms of doctors, medications, specialists. Nobody was helping me. Everything is so discouraging with the weight. Guys, I don't know how to navigate this. And that is when I made one of the biggest decisions of my entire health journey, and that was to take charge of my healthcare. I realized no one would do it for me. I had to be my own advocate. I had to find strength where I didn't think existed. I found myself with a renewed energy and will to fight. I wanted my life back. And before I knew it, December was here. And even though my channel was still crawling, I had just about hit 500 subscribers, I decided I wanted to participate in the Christmas tradition of Vlogmas. I had my concerns in terms of the amount of energy and time that it takes to record and edit videos, and I was very scared that I was going to take on a commitment that I wasn't going to be able to finish. I really wanted to do Vlogmas because I wanted to connect with my subscribers. I wanted to build that community further. I wanted you guys to know me better. And what a better way to get to know someone than to spend almost every day with them. In 25 days of Christmas, I uploaded 14 videos. I really enjoyed the comments and getting to know you better and the community that those Vlogmas created. I wanted to build a relationship with those of you who had been supporting me and cheering for me. Once I told one of my subscribers that I walk a very fine line between being stimulated and challenged enough and burning out. The line between too little and too much is so fine, and it's constantly changing, and I'm not always the best at judging where it's at. And of course, then it results in flares. But I really enjoyed doing Vlogmas. It really challenged me to be faster at editing, but also to let go of perfectionism, because there's absolutely no way that you can film, edit, look for music, and do all of that in one day without any help. December was also a big month because I got approved to take a new to me medication for migraines. It is part of the injectable families of migraine medications. It's called Emgality, and it is a very, very expensive medication. And I got approved by the pharmaceutical company program to try this drug free of cost to me for 6 months. Here we are, guys, at the pharmacy. It's time. Here it is. I was terrified, to say the least, to start that new medication because I have a history of anaphylaxis and bad side effects to medications. Today is the day. We're doing this. I think I'm gonna do this injection today. Then we're gonna get those injectable done. I promise. We are getting this done today. All right, it is time. I'm gonna do it. I promise I'm going to do it. This medication, because it's an injectable, once in your system, you can't take it out. You have to wait for whatever side effects that you're having to wear off. So I was very, very, very worried that I was going to get even more sick than I was and be stuck with it for at least 30 days. But I went ahead and made the decision to take this medication because things were so bad, I didn't feel I had a choice but to try it. Surprisingly, it went really well and the medication is working really well. It has been 2 weeks since I've taken it and I've only had 3 migraines in those 2 weeks. Also, don't think I'm having any side effects from it, nothing that at least I can point out. Another big marker of December is that we were planning a bathroom renovation. Now, this renovation was meant to have been done at the beginning of December, but due to some damaged units, we weren't able to do it then, and it got postponed, and we ended up starting this renovation a week before Christmas. So there was so much going on in December. There was Vlogmas going on, there was renovations, there was this new injection, and then Christmas. On top of it all, I also got a kidney infection that did not respond to the first antibiotics I was prescribed, and then there was a whole drama about the kind of antibiotics I needed only being IV, and the thought of like, would I have to go to the hospital or not? So to say the least, December was a very busy, crazy month. But here we are, we survived. And today is December 31st, 2022. I did it. We did it. I don't want to start 2023 the same way that I did 2022, so I have made plans. I am registered for a 21 slow living immersion course with Heal with Lauren NICOLE, a colleague from YouTube who also has a channel about healing from chronic illnesses. According to Lauren, slow living is about consciously choosing how we spend our time and energy on a daily basis, allowing us to prioritize our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. I will leave a link to Lauren's course in the description below, as well as a link to her YouTube channel and Instagram account. When I saw that Lauren was offering this course, and I thought it would be a great idea to recover from this craziness that December has been, reset and start 2023 on a good foot this time. So if you wish to join us, the link will be in the description below. I hope you all have an amazing new year, and here is to a healthy 2023.